Should be live in a few
It's the
seconds.
cow.
Let's see. Reloading. I don't know why I always do this with my our show, you know.
It is going live.
Good stuff, guys. Yes, yes, we should be live now already. Awesome, guys. Welcome to another Monday here in Operation 11 Charlie. Welcome, guys, to this hanging out with us here. Today we have a special guest, our guys, Jay Kendall, Travis Kendall from Soul Racing and That Scale Show. Welcome, guys.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Hopefully, also Adam Dean, man, he's still working. Adam, one of our brothers. Hopefully, he could join us and hang out with us. So he's working right now, so he's excused. We love you, Adam, bro. So yeah, guys. So we're gonna be talking to the boys today, and yeah. Let me see here real quick. We got a bunch of our veterans already in the chat. Us, welcome in. Check it pass, welcome in. 907 Rob, welcome in, brother. Jeff, welcome in. John Martin, thank you. JNX, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys. Let me see here. Top speed. Mitchell, welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with another Monday here for Operation 11 Charlie. We're gonna be discussing with the guys, talking about that scale show, guys. Actually, let me post here. So if you don't know about that scale show, man, you gotta check that out. So, um, let me see, Joseph.
What's up? What's up?
How was your weekend, brother?
It was good. We had I told you a million times already, but we had my daughter's birthday this weekend.
Yes.
Always a good time. It was a good time.
You had a lot of 10-year-old.
Yes. Yeah. Luckily, we had a whirlpool, so they're like in one area, easy to follow, easy to take care of. So it was a good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No RCing for me this past weekend.
Say happy birthday to the princess. That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Pablo, welcome in, brother. Appreciate you very much, man. I put there a link to the that scale show guys there on Facebook. Also there. Dennis, how was your weekend, brother?
Quiet. Went and celebrated my birthday yesterday with my wife.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man.
Yep. I finally made it to 25.
Stop lying.
25.
Ish, 25-ish. That ish is
That's a big ish.
That's a
It's more
big
ish.
ish, bro.
How about we just say 25 plus?
He actually went to his house where he grew up next to Abe Lincoln over the weekend.
So no bingo hall on Sunday? No bingo hall on Sunday?
No, I stayed home Saturday and had oatmeal and scrambled eggs.
And then a nap.
Practicing already.
A few of them.
Happy birthday, my brother. We love you very much, man. That's awesome, man.
Thanks, guys.
Good stuff there. So I know it's been raining where you at, right? You guys have been having a little bit bad weather in your area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been raining for the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And then today it was 50, and then now it's rain and snow mix again.
Oh, Lord.
Mother Nature just doesn't want to let go.
Josh, how was your weekend, brother?
Good. Worked out in the garage some. We got this all buttoned up. And right now the printer's working overtime for Dennis and Joe's body panels.
Oh, snap.
Yes.
That's awesome stuff. Ierc was in Florida actually, right? How was your stay?
Yeah, me and the wife went on vacation for 10 days. Got back, I can't remember. I'm still on Florida time. I can't stand Florida right now because I was going to bed at 9:30. That sun. Oh, but no, we had a great time. Wife had to come back. She had to work this weekend at the hospital. So, but no, I had a great weekend. Didn't know I was gonna come back to what's that white stuff that floats from the trees? Snow? Oh no, pollen as much as snow. Yeah, but no, good. Can't complain.
That's awesome. How about you, Joe?
It was a pretty good weekend. Very rainy, very, very rainy. Went down Saturday. Tom Asher was doing his scalar comp down there. I didn't really have anything. I went down to check just to see what everybody's rigs was, and
Yeah.
I really didn't have anything to really kind of fit the profile. So I hung out for a little bit till it started raining, and I just been kind of hanging out all weekend.
Nice, nice.
Didn't do much of anything. Working on a new setup, new stream platform here, and
Awesome.
new RC bench, trying to get everything organized and set up. But other than that,
And getting
Killed
ready
season.
for
getting ready for
BTC.
BT Creek. Yep.
Welcome, Kurt. Welcome, Jeremy. Guys, we miss anybody that came in. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Appreciate you guys. I'm surprised that Dennis hasn't shown how many days we have before BTC. Are we in the 20s already?
We've been.
Jeez, squeeze. Anyway, we still got a long way to get ready for that. Talking about BTC, guys, we are going to start a raffle today. This guy, 24 days. Jeez, that's not. Yep. RC Car Garage, welcome in, brother. Thank you for stopping by. So, talking about BTC, guys, appreciate for the support you guys do always for Operation 11 Charlie and our organization. So today we're gonna start another raffle, and it should be the last one before BTC, and then actually we're gonna do an Axial Heliman, however you want to pronounce that, right? How it works for you. So let me see which one we are going to do. The one that we have, I believe, is, oh yes, we got the green one, guys. So we got the green one. So it's $5 a spot, $5 a spot. Like we always say, the PayPal is pinned to the top. Make sure when you do your well, however many spots you want to get, make sure to put the Hillman, right? The raffle that is for, right? Go. So again, we're gonna start it today. So it's 1/8 AXP8 Hillman 2.2 4x4 RTR. And it's the green one, guys, the green one. So that we just open it today, and we'll be sharing our links probably tomorrow or Wednesday. Nathan will be posting it in social media, and then we're gonna be sharing with you guys, so you guys man. So the PayPal is pinned to the top. It's $5 a spot, guys, for the Hillman. So I think that's it. We have before we go to a special guest, we have O11C outing this Friday with the VA hospital here locally. So we're looking forward to that. So we're gonna be doing some training, and we're not gonna be in the classroom this time. We're gonna be doing some training and some boating. Also, we're gonna be doing some RC boats. So they requested the boats again. So we are very excited for that. Here locally, so awesome that guys. So anything that guys that we need to mention before we go to Jay and Travis? Oh, hold on a second before we do that. Joseph, brother, what we got going on this week, and let me show this real quick here. I forgot about that. You see, Joseph, and thank you for sending that flyer. And I should had it downloaded, but Dennis said no, wait until, don't download it yet.
You've got mail.
Yeah. So I will show that. So what we got going on this weekend?
Yeah, so this weekend here in Southern California, in Pomona to be exact, we're having the RC Super Show. It's in the same location they're doing an Overland Expo, but there's a region just for RC related, almost everything. They all have some some vendors there. I think mostly to just show off their thing. I don't know how much they're selling or not, but there's going to be areas for people to crawl. There's going to be areas for people to race. There's going to be ramps. Anything RC related. There's going to be a few companies there. We are specifically in charge of the show and shine with RC Gravity. So this event is this weekend, the 12th and the 13th. It's in the Pomona Fairplex. So if you're in the Southern California area or nearby, come on by. It's from 10 to 5, Saturday and Sunday.
Awesome. So looking forward, guys. Joseph, he's gonna be there. He's gonna have our booth, the O11C booth that's gonna be there in that event. Guys, they gonna be having some raffles going on there, guys. Some nice raffles.
There's raffles, there's giveaways, there's demos. You can go just try out everything there. There's even airplanes there.
Sweet. So
yeah.
For that, awesome stuff. That's this weekend coming up, guys. If you guys there in that area, go say hi to our boys there. They're gonna have our booth again and just having a good time.
It's free for military and first responders. So
okay, that's good to know. Good to know. Shout out to whoever's involved in that. Everybody that's involved, Reckless Crew, and everybody that's involved in that event for hosting that and just helping us out with what that I did here. So awesome stuff for that. Thank you, Joseph, for sharing this. Let me share this real quick. Thanks to Joseph. So this is going back to the raffle. This is the one that we are raffling, guys, now, right? So it's $5 a spot. There's a bunch of raffle spot that already came in, guys. Thank you so much for the support. So this is the one that we're gonna be raffling, guys. So 2.2 Hillman. So appreciate you for the support, guys. And I think that's it.
That's classified as a rock bouncer / rock racer. If I'm not
Is it? If you guys watching and following like West Desert Wheeler, Logan, all that stuff, man, those guys are crazy, and they are crawling the heck out of those. So you could do a lot of stuff with that. But yes, you are correct, Dennis. But some of these guys they're having is very capable what they doing with those stuff, man. And there's a bunch of upgrade parts already for it, right? That comes from Horizon as well that you can get. So check that out, guys, on that. So $5 a spot. And again, don't forget to add the Hillman on when you send us the PayPal, guys. So we get stuff that comes in PayPal and donations and whatnot. So you just gotta make sure that you on your thing you put Hillman on it. So appreciate that for that. So Jay and Travis, thank you, boys, again for joining us, man.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for having us. Yeah.
How's it been doing, guys?
Good. Been busy.
Yeah. Very busy.
You moved, right, Travis? Are you still in Seattle?
No, I'm in Colorado now. So yeah, a little bit east of Denver.
How you liking that change?
I like it a lot. Yeah.
You like
No, it's great. Yeah, no, I've been out here about 1.5 years now. And
awesome.
yeah, we'll see how long I'm here, but probably a good several years. I like it a lot drier. A lot more sun.
A lot of stuff to do right out there in Colorado as well. So awesome. Are we gonna move Jay there too?
Probably not anytime soon.
Probably not.
That's awesome. So what's new, guys? Jay, what's new? Let's talk about that scale show. What's new for the boys, man?
Oh man. Well, this past year we transitioned to doing video episodes. So you can still listen on Spotify and the other podcast platforms, but we started doing like a video feed and have that on YouTube and stuff now. So seems like it's split kind of 50-50, between people that watch versus people that listen. So we're trying to make adjustments and make sure that it's like interesting for the people that can't see what we're talking about, like not get too visually oriented with what we're doing or what we're talking
Yes.
about on the show, so that it doesn't work for audio only. So it's kind of tricky trying to find that balance right now, but we're getting there.
But I really love those, Travis, because while we're ranching, we like to listen and watch stuff, right? So I have
Mhm.
set or whatever, so it's good too as well to hang out with you guys there too, man.
It's been a lot of fun. We've really enjoyed ourselves. We're trying to do episodes a little bit more frequently here, and it's which has been good too, because that kind of coincides with all the stuff that Adam's had going on, which it's
Yeah.
a shame he's not here, because he's got the NorCal We Rock RC that he's involved with, and he's got
Yeah.
the Scale Challenge West that he's involved
Yeah.
with and stuff. So he's been a part of a lot more events than recently than he has in previous years, and so it's given us a lot more to talk about and stuff. So we're trying to do episodes a little more frequently and everything. And I made a trip down to Portland and hung out with some guys that we know from the
Awesome.
show, and finally had met them for the first time.
That's
Chris
awesome.
Trudeau, who's watching tonight, and some of his buddies and stuff. So that was a really good time. So got to do that and check out drifting for the first time at one of their local spots. So it was really cool. So we've been having a lot of fun.
Let's say there, Checker Passes says, Jay's a drifter now.
Mhm.
Trying.
Man, talking about drifter, man, I'm not into it, but there's a release coming up that it got my attention. Is that, what is the Pfizer, the Toyota one? The old
Oh yeah, the
school?
Kyosho, the new one, the
Oh,
A86.
bro,
Yeah.
that's old school stuff when I was growing up.
Yeah, that
So,
thing's cool.
so I think I'm gonna be there in the pre-ordering whenever it release. I want to get that one, man. And some of the upgraded parts, I was looking at the video that you could get the lights up and down, so you could upgrade it
sick.
to,
Yeah.
so you could scale it to. It's sick, man. Sick stuff. You guys have
Yeah, that thing's super cool.
it is super cool, man. Super cool. Josh, if you can find it so we can share it, Josh, that it's good. It's sick, man. Sick. We have a few guys. Actually, we got one of our veterans here on the chat. James, he do a lot of drifting too. He took me to that location. The location they do that is sick, man. The stuff that they do, and it's just incredible, Jay,
It's
right?
pretty fun. It's a good time. Like, it's not like I
It's,
could care less about drifting in real life, like
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't follow it or anything. I mean, there's a few like social media accounts and stuff that I follow just because I'll check out like video clips and stuff, but I don't watch like any of the Formula Drift rounds or anything like that. And the RC stuff, I'm just kind of, not all that into it. Associated had sent a car for us to
yeah.
build, and so I checked that out, and that was pretty fun. So it got me hooked. It was probably definitely one of the most fun RC activities I've done yet, and it was just
Yeah.
super relaxing, and just you kind of get in a groove and you start sort of flowing around the track and stuff, and it's just, I don't know, it was a cool experience, super relaxing. Probably the closest that I've experienced to when you're out crawling and stuff, how you're just kind of in that like happy place where you don't really care about what else is going
Yeah.
on, and you're just sort of in the moment, and that's kind of how the drifting was. So it was a good time. If anybody's like looking for something to kind of just chill out and focus on that and nothing else in your life, then that is like a really good experience to go do.
It's a different part of the hobby. It's like different breed, the guys, man. I love it, man. I love it. Let me show this real quick, Jay. If you guys haven't seen this, man. The Trueno. I love that thing, man. It's like, wow, old school stuff, bro. That is sick. It's unbelievable. I know this is me growing up. So look at that thing, bro.
Yeah, that thing's rad.
That thing is, and for the price too. I believe in the 250, around that,
Yeah,
240.
yeah, I think it's like under 250. The crazy
So
thing about that too that they did, and it's a great idea, and I don't know why anyone else never jumped on it before, but it's got an
yeah,
adjustable wheelbase. So I mean, you can stretch that
yes,
thing out super, super long.
Yes, yes, I saw that. So you could change different bodies and whatnot. Yes, I saw that, Jay. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy. Let me see that, and we can see some of the stuff. Um, that thing is beautiful, man. I'm just stoked for this. I'm not a drifter, but I think James, you
That'd
gotta
turn you
show.
into one.
That's yeah, James, you gotta
Mhm.
use. I know you're there on the chat. You're gonna have to show me a few moves here and there, bro. So I mean, that thing is beautiful, man. Beautiful stuff. So I was very excited when I saw that bit there. So Nathan is joining us here. Let me see the what else you. I think he sent me the tires, the cap. Man, look at all this stuff that you can do with this thing, man. It's so I think it's the scale part of the hobby that we love. Some of you scalers, you know, uh, it's just crazy. Look at this, man. So you got the caliper, new
That
tires.
looks
You got
great.
look at the lights, man.
Calipers look awesome.
They look awesome, man. Thank you, Joseph, bro, for hanging out with us, my brother. Appreciate you, my love,
Thank you,
my
guys.
brother. Yep, yep. Take care, brother. So then,
See
man,
ya.
Like,
this thing is awesome, man. Awesome, awesome. So, hey, for the price point that is coming into it, because I know some the drift, though some of those rigs are very expensive, man. So the price point on this is on point, I think, for some of the guys that want to start doing this, man. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a good one.
uh, let me, guys, if you guys have any in the chat here, any questions for Jay and Travis, feel free to post them and we get them as soon as possible. And we didn't answer, please repost them as there. Let me see here. Checker pass. It said I have a 1-to-1 Corolla AE86 in front of my house, Javier. That's all, bro. Those things are rad, bro. Beautiful, man. That's what's up, man. You saw there, Jay. Check it pass says until Jay comes down and comes crawling with us. It got the same vibe with those same guys crawling as we do drifting. That's awesome, brother.
It was a
Um,
good time. We had a really nice time there. It was fun. I mean, it was like one of those days where so much time has passed where all of a sudden you look and it's like they're closing the store and you're just going, oh my God, I can't believe we've been here this long. Like it just gets away from you. It was one of those days. We had a really good time.
I love it, man. That's what we enjoy about the hobby, Jay and Travis. That's that part of interacting with the people, taking our veterans to those outings that you don't even realize that the time we've been there and you know hanging out with the people. That's awesome, man.
Well, it's a
Love that.
trip meeting people that you've like known for 6, 7 years online, but like you've never seen them in person or anything. So I mean, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Love it, bro. That good stuff there. Let me see here. Where's my drift car? Yeah, 285 and pushing 2 grand on my shoes. Those are the drifters. You see?
Crazy.
I know there's a lot of money going to the drifter. I know that. I know that. What Robert said, they wouldn't last here in Alaska, bro. You got to do the indoor stuff there. I'm not doing any outdoor stuff,
you just gotta
especially now, Rob.
you just gotta
Yeah.
put skis and tracks on it.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
I got super lucky down the street from me. There's a school that has a seal coated asphalt outdoor
Mhm.
basketball court that's covered. And so, like it's dumping rain here right now. So it's kind of nice. I can go there and, drive till 10 o'clock at night in the summertime and stuff, on weeknights and whenever else. So it's kind of cool. Don't have to worry about the weather. But yeah, Alaska, there's probably not too many outdoor basketball courts.
Right? Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, Jay. Yeah, bro. So real quick, I know we jumped that, but you already mentioned about that scale show. The people that don't know about the show, what is the show all about, guys? When you guys started? Just a little bit about introduction to some of the guys that don't know about the show. Real
Oh
quick.
gosh, when did we started a long time ago? I don't know, 4 years ago.
It's been about 6.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, I
Wow.
think it was
Wow.
early 2019 it started because I think we started track walk around the same time. And so yeah, then I think you guys started picking up recording a little bit later. But yeah, I think overall it's been about 6 years that scale show has been around.
Yeah, because we're on 100 what, 3,334 episodes, something like that.
Something around there.
But
Yep.
yeah, no, so it started out just Adam and I, and then Trav had a racing oriented podcast with a guy that he had worked and raced with, and then they kind of decided to discontinue that, and Trav jumped on board with Adam and I, and just kind of offers his perspective from largely like a business standpoint, and then Adam is kind of like a social media type guy where, you know,
Yeah.
he's been doing like the 2 chain scalar thing for years and years and years, and has been sort of a fixture in the Axial community and at Axial Fest and stuff. And so you know, and then I kind of come from like the business and like idea side of things, so we kind of each had like our own unique thing to kind of bring to conversations and stuff. And the show revolves mostly around really scale oriented stuff, not like cheater rigs or anything like that. You know, we'll talk about stuff occasionally, like, you know, we've talked about like the Vanquish stance and stuff, and the Axial SCX 10 Pro and things like that, but we don't get super like in depth and detailed with that stuff. It's all mostly like trail rigs and scale builds and stuff like that. And then it seems like the last couple years, maybe like 4 years or so, 3 years, started kind of getting more into like some RC rally, drag racing when it was more scaled. Now it's, you know, kind of out of hand, but like anything that was kind of outside of scale crawlers, we started kind of bringing in and talking about and stuff. And so, I mean, we've covered things like the Low C Pro Moto, for example, and things like that, that are like kind of scale realistic replicas of stuff, not just crawler stuff. So, you know, drift cars, touring cars, things like that. So it's, we've kind of broadened our interest, and we try and encompass all of that stuff into the show now, and it gives us more to talk about, you know, as far as like releases go and new products and just conversation in general. You know, it's just it's fun. I think like once you're into like scale RC, like I think the crawler thing brings a lot of guys in first. You know, I can't really speak for like Chris Trudeau, you know, checkered past in the comments here, but Chris, if I understand correctly, was like a crawler guy that had got into drifting. And I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like you get to a point where it's like you get really like invested into scale accessories and things like that, and then it's like once you get into that level of interest in detailing stuff out, I think that's when you start pulling other types of cars into what you are interested in, you know, and you start messing with drift cars and stuff, because it's all really similar, you know. I mean, it's still like fire extinguishers and windshield wipers and making this light up and that, you know. So I mean, it's something that like no matter what side you're on, whether it's like crawler stuff or drifting and touring cars, it's a shared interest, you know, and a shared like level of detail that are applied to those builds. And so I think
the scale buildings too, Jay, the scale buildings, the track, all the stuff that incorporate, and it's just crazy what they do, man.
Yeah, like the gas stations and stuff at the drift tracks are like, all that stuff is so cool. And just, you know, and then you've got like the scale towns and buildings and stuff that Adam and Helios have been doing forever. And it's just, that just adds, I don't know why, but when you get into scale RC, it just turns you into photographer all of a sudden. And so it's like, you're just constantly looking for photo ops. And it's so funny because I guarantee, like when I got into crawlers and stuff, I didn't care about buildings and driver figures and stuff like that. But it's like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. You know, the more immersed you get into it, and you start getting interested in all of this detail stuff. So it's I don't know. It's funny how it progresses, and your interest gets broadened.
And now with the trailer printing, most of these guys that have trailer printers at home, it makes it easier for people to get the scale stuff on. So that's awesome, right?
That's game changing. Like having a 3D printer is, I mean, like when I was a little kid, there's no way I could have like predicted we would have had something like that, you know, in the future. And to be
Yep.
able to just literally just make whatever you want. It's like it's a level of convenience and it like that you just never had before, and it unlocks so many other things with the hobby, because I think a lot of the 3D printing stuff starts out like making ice chests and little scale details and stuff,
Yeah.
and then after a while you start kind of pushing yourself, and it's okay, I want to make some like technical parts because now I want to be able to mount this body to this vehicle and have this part work with this. And so it just unlocks this whole new level of creativity and freedom that you don't normally have. And then next thing you know, it's so out of control. And like now, I mean, I'll get something or build something, and like I feel like I'm just totally half-assing it if it doesn't have an interior in it or something,
Yeah.
like it just it's a sickness, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And just the 3D printing makes that so accessible for people and stuff. So I mean, it's it's game changing. And I'm not especially technically proficient or anything like that. And so, I mean, like if I can figure it out and have fun with it, everybody else can too. I was one of those people that was like, you know what, it's confusing, I'm just going to get frustrated, whatever. And I had bought a printer, and I think it sat for like a year and a half, and I just like, I kind of had it set up and it didn't work all that great. And I just sort of gave up on it. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm not smart enough to deal with it. I'm just going to, find something else to do. And then, you give it another chance, and then it starts making sense and everything. So I mean, it's something anybody can get into. And and the price has come down so much on stuff like that too now, that you can get some incredible printers and crank out some amazing looking stuff for not much of an investment at all.
In so many YouTube videos that will show you. If you one of those guys, I mean, don't want to read the instruction. Oh my God, this is complicated, bro. This is a bunch of YouTube videos.
Well, the best tool that I've had was I know everybody's like really has strong feelings about it and is really like split, but with 3D printing stuff, whenever I have technical issues or anything like that, I use Chat GPT. AI has been a huge resource for me as far as education goes. And if I like, for example, like right now, I'm trying to print a roll cage for a rally build that I'm doing, and I'm having trouble having the roll cage adhering to the supports. And it's something I've been fighting. And so it's like having that resource like Chat GPT, it remembers the conversation that you have, it remembers the details about what you've tried in the past, remembers your equipment and stuff. And so when I have any kind of an issue like that, I run it through that and go through and just try the different suggestions and stuff, because I mean, it's pulling knowledge from all of the internet, and so it's been, that is a game changer. That it went from being intimidated by 3D printing to like, that has helped me really wrap my head around and understand stuff. And then just for the hell of it, we did a project with a all-wheel drive car, one of Team Associated's platforms, and wanted to make it behave more like a two-wheel drive drift car. And so all of Travis and I have pretty strong racing backgrounds, and so we've got like a pretty good understanding of like car setup and stuff. And it was wild. Like basically I got this car tuned the way that I wanted and set up by going through AI and bouncing ideas off of it. And the thing ended up performing phenomenal. And it was wild. I mean, it's just the technology that we have available to us right now.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you, it lets you enjoy this hobby on a level that 5 years ago I wasn't able to do. I mean,
and depends on the budget. All this different brand of trader printers, as you go in up in the price, some of those as you go in price, you don't have to do nothing. Just plug and play, and just whatever you have to print, and they do a lot of this, make it simpler for us guys that don't know how to deal with that.
Well, the setup that we have, because in addition to the podcast, Travis and I own SOR Racing, and we do decals and parts and accessories for RC. And he and I's process is we both. I just very recently started getting interested in 3D design and stuff. My background's always been graphic design. And so he and I kind of have a process where like I have two really, really inexpensive printers because I've just used them for myself for my own builds and stuff. So I have two Ender 3 Pros, which is like $150 printer. And so I'll do all of our like prototyping as far as like test fitting and making sure all the holes are in the right spot and everything fits. I'll do it on that. And then all the production stuff that we do, it all comes from Travis in Colorado because he has two of the bamboo, what is it, the X1s? Is that what those are?
Yeah.
And so our production parts come from nicer, newer 3D printers. So that's kind of like our system that we've got going with that.
Team effort, bro. That's awesome. Love that. Look at this note right here, man. Checker Pass says, Javier, Rob Gunning wrote one of the earliest articles about drifting for RCCA back in the day, man. That's awesome. One of our veterans, Rob Gunning, man. That is awesome,
No
man.
kidding. That's rad.
Yeah, Rob Gunning there. What is he says something's Team Sideways, FRR. Good old days. That's awesome, man. Awesome. Slight ways, not sideways, slight ways. That's awesome, man. Good stuff, Rob, man. Oh, I love that, man. Love that stuff, man.
I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. I thought like drifting would be fun, but it's like the very next day I wanted to drive 4 hours again back to the track and go do it again. Like it's I did not see that being something in my future at all.
That's why me getting that I really want that Kyosho, bro. But I think that's dangerous.
Do it.
It's dangerous, man. I can't wait to come out, man. So before we continue talking about that drifting, man, I know we guys know about Travis and Jay, man. Dirt bikes, bro. I know that's old school stuff for you guys, man. When that moto came out, man, and you guys test those, man, how was that for you? An RC, man, it drive that well, bro, and you could do so much stuff on that.
I've actually never had a chance to check one of those things out in person,
bro.
They look amazing. What surprised me was them releasing a supermoto one because that was the discipline of racing that I did professionally. And it's something that just never caught on in the United States. And at a professional level, it was really strong for a while when it was featured on X Games and stuff. And then about 2010, it really petered out and just kind of stopped being a thing. And it just tripped me out that people went nuts over an RC supermoto bike, yet the real thing can't survive in the real world. So it was just that that was really unexpected when they hit drop that bomb on all of us.
Bro, Jay, I tested out, one of our guys had one, and hey, write this. I don't know, man. Just be careful. Just the opposite way, blah, blah, all that. Bro, that thing rides awesome, man. I was very impressed with that thing, bro. I thought I was gonna crash it or something, but I had a lot of fun with that one.
The technology they have with gyros and stuff now, I'm really curious to know more about the system they're using in that new Losi monster truck, the 2.0 version of the LMT.
Yeah,
the stuff they're doing with gyros and everything in these electronics now is just mind-blowing. I mean, just like I have a RC monster truck also. It's a Axial SC or a SMT10, and basically like a giant Wraith. And all of those moves that they're doing, like the stoppies and stuff like that, like they shoot a lot of that stuff in really high frame rates, and so it looks a lot more controlled and like longer and cooler than it really is. Like those tricks to try and do are more like happy accident almost than it is something that's deliberate. And so then seeing them now have an RTR that helps assist you to actually pull off stuff like that is just I mean, I couldn't have dreamt it up. It's just crazy.
It's crazy, man.
It's wild.
You know, they posted a video of the thing doing nose wheelies. I'm just like, how? It's so rad.
It makes you wonder if they have two gyros in it.
Yes.
Yeah, I really want to know more. Like that it's been a while since something has caught my attention the way that that monster truck has, because that, I mean, there's some serious science that went into that thing.
It is definitely well done. That is for certain.
Travis, what you been doing in Colorado? No crawling, man. You got those beautiful
I know.
locations where you at, bro. You got crawling all over the place, man.
It's definitely on the list soon here because the weather's gotten really nice recently. So I'm hoping that that's definitely going to be a big part of the next couple months. I've not been working on anything like very share worthy here. I came out here to work on a project like not attached to anything that Jay and I had been doing. Needed somewhere like centrally located for fulfillment center, stuff like that. So just kind of boring stuff. But yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, and then I'm just trying to keep all the wheels turning on everything else that he and I have been working on. But hard, lots to do, little time.
Oh, let's see here. Later, Eric. Prayers, brother. Take care, man. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. Guys here on the panel, feel free to join in any questions that you guys have for Jay and Travis. I've been posting the link, guys, real quick. Also, for the merchandise for the boys, go ahead and support the boys there. Check that out on the chat, man. Got some cool stuff there. I need to get my swag there, so I gotta order some here. Some of the new stuff they have there, so be doing that tonight. I know Carl below custom, welcome in, bro. We miss anybody that joined us. Thank you so much. Russell, Angie, thank you so much for the support and hanging out with us here, guys, there. So that's what's up, man. Nathan, take over real quick, guys. Take over real quick, Nate.
Will do. I kind of missed the very beginning, so if I accidentally ask a question that was already answered, please just let me know. But I have been seeing you mess around with the element, the 12 scale a lot.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about that. And do you by chance have that thing handy?
I do actually.
Okay, well, whenever Javier gets back, we'll have him
Is right there.
Yeah, we'll have him pin you up.
Okay.
And but we definitely need to talk about that platform a little bit, because that's something that I feel like flies underneath the radar a little bit, and it's actually quite neat.
This thing was a surprise. I'm actually kind of bummed out that I never drove it just box stock RTR, you know, like I did the thing that I do and got it and took it apart and started, you know, messing with stuff and making parts for it and everything. And I never drove it right out of the box. But after driving this thing with it, it's got, let me see if I can. So
yep, he's got
it's got a Night Customs 3D printed interior, Night Customs grill, and then one of the things that really kind of stands out that everybody seems to notice is the Night Customs hardtop. Really, really top heavy. I mean, like that on something as little as this, that's a lot of weight. And that little truck has no business being as good as it is. It's been a long time since I've had as much fun as I have with that. And stock, they must be absolute animals. And so I'm so bummed out that I never tried the thing, you know, in its stock form, but it has been so much fun. Once in a while you get like that magic combination of like weight and spring rate and the right suspension oil to where like you go to pick it, like if it's sitting on the ground and you pick it up by the bumpers, like it feels like it has the same resistance when you pull it up as when you push it down. Like it's just that magic sweet spot, you know, and it's just heavy enough to where when you're driving it kind of like flops around and sways back and forth and everything. And it's made this like really fun, realistic looking scale driving experience that it's been a long time since I've had a rig that acts like that, but it just drives so good. And like having such a short wheelbase, it, you know, like some stuff that's really, really steep, obviously it's not going to like, because it's going to get kind of front end light. But when it comes to like going over sharp stuff and everything, it just has, with that shorter wheelbase, it creates this weird clearance where it's just really good at certain things that other trucks aren't because of how short it is. And it's been just a kick in the ass. It's a really, really cool rig. And like you said, just way underrated. I mean, just
all elements are almost secret weapons straight out of the box. Well, I mean, really, when you look at them.
Yeah, they really do work good. They're, you know, and they followed like a really kind of a proven design with sort of like having everything sort of modeled after the Axial SCX 10.2. You know, that was kind of the blueprint for like the original Vanquish VS 410 origin. You know, that 3-gear transmission model, you know, that everybody kind of took off and copied. I think Red Cat's done it. I think Traxxas is one of the only ones that hasn't, and kind of did their own thing at, you know, when they first came right out of the gate with the car. But everybody else kind of sort of followed what Axial had done in the past. And, you know, it's a proven platform and it works really good. They dropped the 12th scale line, Element did. They kind of like snuck it into their product line, but didn't really follow up super hard with it. You know, like they've kind of changed the way that they do things at Associated. They used to send rigs out to different social media people and stuff like that, and they went away from doing that, and now it's all just YouTube channels. Those are the only people that they send like new early release stuff to. And so they've kind of changed how they do things. And so when they dropped the 12th scale stuff, it was announced, and then just you kind of didn't really hear about it, you know. And there was a lot of people that I would see in the different element groups, you know, like, does anyone have one of these? Does anyone have a Bushido 12? Can anyone tell me about them? What are they like and stuff? And I was having a conversation with a guy in Facebook Messenger who was like, dude, I want, and at this point I didn't have one. And he's like, dude, I want one, but I mean, you know, are they going to be around? Is there going to be product support and stuff? I mean, what's the future like for them? And so I had messaged Brad at Element and spoke with him, you know, in detail about it. And they sent this one over to me, and then I started building it stuff. And it was just, a long time ago, I had one of the Associated CR12s, which is like this thing's, you know, like father, I guess you could call it. And they've made a lot of changes on the Enduro 12 version from the CR12, but I had a CR12 and I had lengthened the links on it and stuff and put a Proline Sumo body on it, because I always thought like Samurais were kind of cool, you know, like this rad little cheap inexpensive wheeler and stuff. And so it's something that I had always kind of wanted to build and everything. And so I had ended up selling it. And then you know, when these came out, I was like, man, you know, that really wasn't a bad rig. The changes that they've made to that platform when they reintroduced it as the Enduro 12 instead, you know, it's looking kind of solid, you know, like you've got some shock mounting points where you can really lay the shocks down on it with the stock chassis. You know, the only weak link on this thing has been the stock servo. It's a really oddball size, you know, it's like bigger than what comes on a TRX 4M, but it's like smaller than a 10th scale. So we had made a servo on axle bracket for it to put a standard size servo on it, and then did like a link riser and some other stuff to it. But really, like, the servo was kind of the only thing holding this thing back. And I wasn't expecting it to be just the little beast that it is. But now there's people that are starting to pop up and buy them, that are posting them and everything and talking about how much they enjoyed them and stuff. So they're slowly gaining traction, but it's, you know, it's going to take some work, and that's kind of part of what we do with, you know, our business and with the podcast and stuff, is just, you know, take something that might be kind of obscure and you know, maybe isn't selling as much as they were hoping for, you know, and taking it and try and get it out in front of people's faces and show them what it can actually do. And it just ended up being a shockingly capable little truck. It shouldn't be as good as it is.
I'll be 100% honest. I seen your video of it, and I actually had to go look to see because it looked phenomenal. I was like, this thing looks just awesome. And I was like, what is it? And so I had to go look. I'm like, that chassis looks familiar, but I didn't realize until I actually found your stuff that what it was. I was like, holy mackerel, that thing just looks awesome.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's I haven't tried it yet. There's not a lot of information on the motor that comes with these. It just says MT380 and that's it. Near as I can tell, it is I believe 16 turn motor, 16 or 12. And so when you start adding the weight of like the interior and everything and some aluminum wheels and stuff, this thing started getting really hot. I noticed the other day, and there's not like an abundance of 380 motors that you can choose from like you can with 540s and 550s. And so I found a 37 turn dynamite motor that I'm going to try. I put that in it because like this thing, they come with just a 2-cell, like a little shrink wrapped like lithium ion 2 AA's, you know, and that's right. It. And the full size servo really taxed the battery life on it. I think they're only like 850 milliamp or something like that. And once you put like a full size servo and run a couple lights and stuff off of it, it sucks the battery life down. So I like right away I knew I had to like go to a 3S. Well, pairing a 3S with that stock motor was like stupid fast. I mean, it was just like so touchy and responsive and had so much wheel speed and everything. I was like, all right, this isn't going to work. And so I messed around with the ESC with the tuning on it and got it to soften up a little bit on the bottom end and everything. But I'm hoping the 37 turn motor is going to be kind of what takes it right to where exactly it needs to be, so I don't end up smoking the thing. Like for trails and stuff I wouldn't worry about it, but like the terrain that I've been driving on is fairly aggressive, and it does tax stuff pretty good because it is high traction rock too, and so there's things I'm keeping an eye on, like the pins on the drive shafts where the yokes come together. I think everybody's had like a Traxxas slash at one point, and you see how the pins just go through the plastic. Well, eventually they get kind of ovaled out and wallowed out and stuff. So that's something that I could see happening to these in the future. I'm sure there's some other driveline options and stuff, but I'm in kind of like a let's keep an eye on it and see development stage with it right now. But so far, I mean, it's been fantastic. So if we can just get the motor heat issue under control, which I think this will, I think we're going to have a pretty good, capable, solid platform that is also like really cheap too. I mean, they're not very expensive at all.
Yeah, like you say, they come out of the box with the battery, and good news is you guys have the part available for fixing the steering servo side of things. For adapting that. So that's kind of the win-win right there.
Yeah, there's little things. I mean, like I wish that they had M3 hardware. It's got M2.5, which is like not quite as common or easy to find, So I mean, definitely like if you're gonna buy one of these, pick up like a variety pack on Amazon of M2.5 hardware and stuff for it. But really, I mean, that's it. Like there's not like a lot of like weird stuff about them or anything. I mean, they have 12 mil hexes, so any tires and wheels fit them. Mine has 3.85, so that kind of tells you kind of something about like how
Right.
small this thing actually is. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
sick, man.
really small tires, but they work great. I mean, small tires paired with a short wheelbase. I mean, it
Yep.
works fine. Doesn't have the clearance issues you think it would.
That and your approach and departure angles are phenomenal. So it's
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
the
it's
total. I
crazy.
mean, it's awesome. It really
Yeah,
is.
there's just like this thing has like this weird skill set of like just certain things it is so good at, and it's been a good time. I forgot how much fun I had with that original CR12, and it's like in hindsight, it's like, man, why did I ever get rid of that thing? This thing is such a good time.
Yep.
How
You
about How about that thing behind you on your right shoulder?
Oh, the semi?
Yeah.
That is going to be a hill climb truck. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Pikes Peak trucks, but it's going to be slammed with a big, stupid, giant rear wing on it, and put a brushless system in it. And so that's what that thing's going to be when it's all done. So that'll be pretty fun. That is the same chassis as the Apex 2, which is one of the associated models that I'm like really, really familiar with, that I was been kind of an advocate for quite a few years now after they came out. It's been a really fun platform and something that I believe in, and it's been really durable. So I thought that'd be a fun project since it's something that I'm kind of used to, but do a build that's like really outside the box for me instead, though. So just keep things fun and interesting.
do you have one of those rally cars handy by chance?
Yeah, I got a couple. This is their A550 rally car. Move my mic there.
Yeah.
So this has their rally kit, which gives it like a ton of suspension travel, longer shocks, taller shock towers. There's a bunch of stuff I've done to this looks wise, like added like steel mesh grills and mud flaps, and did a interior, and I had handmade a roll cage out of styrene for it and stuff. But the RTR version of this looks very similar. It's just like a different paint scheme.
That's what I love. And that right there is a perfect example. I mean, you can take something quick, fun to play around in the dirt and do the scale work and make it look the part and play the part. That's what's cool about it.
Well, we just started. You guys are the first people that I've even told this to. We are working on a line of scale, 10th scale rally parts. So we have 2 rigs that I'm building. They're both Ford Fiestas, and these are going to have all of our new products on it. This has a TPU bumper skirt, like what the real rally cars have, with really small hardware that screws onto it. We're doing mud flap kits for them. So there's actual like rubber, real mud flaps. This is a rear diffuser that's rubber, that's TPU, that's super durable. So you don't have to worry about breaking it off in the dirt or anything. Interior cage, mirrors or something that we design and sell. So you'll be able to buy the mirrors from us or buy the file to print them yourself. So yeah, we're doing a whole line of products that will let you make your 10th scale rally cars look more realistic. So
it's awesome.
So we've got going on. Travis's looks a lot cooler than the one that I'm doing. The body for his turned out really nice. I haven't done any of the grills or anything, but this is Trav's.
That's nice. Hold on, let me.
That's sick.
I like that color.
Yep.
We did a flip flop 2-tone paint scheme on this one. So Trav's car is going to be dope. I can't wait to get it finished.
Yeah, excited for that.
So yeah, I've got a lot going on, but I mean, basically, like it's weird. I mean, most of the stuff that we do or have that we offer is like born out of some sort of situation where it's like necessary for us for a build.
Mhm.
And so, with me, I like making things look as, kind of practical and scale realistic as I can without it being something that you're afraid to drive. And so I started thinking about it. I was like, let's make some like really cool durable parts for RC rally cars because nobody's doing that. It's like the bodies and stuff look good, but like it's not like crawlers where you've got like mirrors and windshield wipers and mud flaps. And it's like you don't have all the cool little accessories for any of the RC rally stuff. And so that just kind of turned into a mission of mine one day. And I was like, you know what?
Well,
I want to start making all these parts and try
yeah.
and make having cool detail items accessible for everybody for rally cars now too, not just crawler stuff.
Yeah, 2 points. I mean, Nathan, you said it best, right? Where it's like it always has to look and play the part. Like everything has to drive and function and do well. Um, and then, so I feel like that's been a pretty big theme for us for a long time. And then the other thing too, then is that like almost everything we make outside of graphics has been like born out of like some sort of side conversation, trying to figure out some weird problem that we have with something or like something that we want to behave a little bit differently. And that I think that basically everything we offer has pretty much been originated that way. Like we didn't have any like real just like normal idea creation where it was just like, hey, let's just make something real quick for ourselves, and then it just sort of happens from there.
When it's easy that way too, because I mean it solves whatever our parts need is, but then also it's something that's available for other people. And so it's kind of a good way of like developing parts and stuff because I mean like I feel like for the most part I kind of know what people are into and what they like and what they think is cool and everything. And so it's like I try and keep up on all of that and like what the trends are and stuff and what people are doing. But um you want to still have it be, God, how can I say this? Sorry, I'm trying
You're
to
good,
think
bro.
a good way to explain this. You don't have this big investment in time in something that you may or may not be able to sell, so it's like
Well,
for example, like with the rally car stuff, it's like we don't have mirrors for rally car bodies. I want mirrors for my rally car body. So now it's a thing. And now, we'll take that and it's a thing for everybody. Now, if we sell 3 of them or whatever, fine. If we sell 100 of them, fine. But I needed them. And that was kind of like the first priority. And then like all of that work is already done. So okay, let's just turn around and make it so that everybody can have access to it now, and so like that's what we're trying to do. And that's where I was kind of getting like lost in with what I was trying to say there, having trouble spitting it out. But I try my best to pay attention to what people like and think is cool and what is trendy at the moment, so that I'm not just making like weird one-off stuff that not every, that nobody's going to buy, so I mean it's I'll make stuff for our own builds and everything within reason, unless it's just so far out in left field that it's not worth me spending that much time. Like it's basically I'm not going to build anything for myself that I wouldn't think other people would be able to use too, because it's not really a good use of my time and to our benefit. So I try and like keep my scope somewhat narrowed to like usable, useful things. So
have you guys thought or looked at doing any of the Tamaya rally stuff?
It'll
Like
happen at
making,
some point, I'm sure. I
yeah,
like it's not in it. We don't have any immediate plans, but like we know how this goes. Where like even if it's a couple of years down the road, he's gonna do something with one.
yeah, I've got one. My friend Ty at Tegan, he is like a big Tamaya rally guy, and I'm working on doing bumper that's made out of TPU that has a little more clearance than the foam ones. Cause I guess a lot of the Tamiya models, you got to like cut the foam bumper with a lot of the tires because the front tires will hit it. And so they, I guess it's like this one kind of just big generic shape. So I'm going to reshape the front bumper and get a bunch of those out to tie for his own cars. But that'll probably be the first thing that we do for the Tamiya stuff. But the one that I have, it's just sitting right here. It's a Escort Cosworth. And we had just done the same thing on this one, did mud flaps and stuff on it. So most of the rally stuff that I'm doing is all like, for the most part, universal, that, you know, it'll
Right.
fit just about anybody. So the stuff I'm doing is not like necessarily just, you know, specific to associated stuff. I'm trying to have it be, you know, body detail items that work on anything.
Nice. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of like Tamiya specific, like you have to have a Tamiya X mount chat, you like this specific chassis to do.
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
there's all kinds of stuff, and I think in that crowd that kind of stuff will really do well for certain.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. I mean, it's like there's a huge contingent of their customers that just
Yeah.
build those cars to put on a shelf. And I think a lot of the stuff that I'm wanting to do for the rally cars is something that those guys would really, really appreciate. But at the same time, like I drive everything. And so that's why like it was really important to do, you know, to like get my self educated and dialed in on like printing out a TPU, for example, because that stuff's practically indestructible. So if I make our mud flaps and the bumper skirts and like diffuser and parts out of TPU, then, you know, you can have this detailed rig and you can go beat the crap out of it and you're not going to break a mirror off or something like that, you know? So, I mean, there's like little things like that. And like the mirrors, for example, were something that I had put, and it's funny, like unless you like are working in this industry, there's things that you're not going to appreciate. So like all of us have seen like Axial and other rigs, how you put a mirror on, it's got like, you know, a little like usually 6 millimeter body post with a clip and an o-ring, you know, and that like that's how you mount a lot of mirrors. And then more recently, you know, they have like backing pieces that screw in and stuff, but like earlier on, like a lot of mirrors were just like a body post with a clip and a o-ring. So when we did the mirrors for the rally cars, we moved the hole out for the body clip so that you can do two o-rings so that it has more give, so the mirror can move around more. So if you do hit something with it, it's not going to break off, you know. So it's like you try and do these like little tiny things that no one's ever going to see or appreciate necessarily, but like it's going to make the difference between like the mirror getting ripped off the car or not, you know. And so it's like trying to think of like all the little stuff like that that you can do to make building something really detailed a lot more practical and something that you can go have fun with it and not be afraid to hurt it, you know. So that's kind of been like the mission with these parts, is like equal parts looks, equal parts performance. Like that kind of has been where Travis and I have tried to kind of keep our feet at with what we do right from the very beginning, you know, is like find that balance between like scale realism and practical and durability, you know.
Yeah, and uh, you hit the one of the things that got me interested in the rally stuff all over again, I think, was actually Ty. If I remember right, he did like a series, like a video series on that. I think it was a TTO2 or something like that, a rally car, um, where he put brushless in it and he went and just stripped it down some trails and stuff. And
Oh,
it was
yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, it was phenomenal. And I'm like, that looks like so much fun. And it just hit me all over again. So,
It's a
uh,
it's a good activity. Like where I live here, like to go rock crawling, I have to drive probably like an hour and a half. But on the island I live at, there's all kinds of hiking trails and stuff, and some of them are like compacted pea gravel. And
mhm.
during the week, like nobody's around or anything. Like I try not to go crawling or go drive anywhere on weekends because I don't want to, you know, like I don't want to wear out our welcome with the public. You know what I mean? Like at parks
Yeah.
and stuff, because all the places that we crawl at are all public parks. And so it's like really like the less noticeable we are, the better. And so like with the hiking trails and stuff and the rally stuff and everything, that's like the perfect activity here is like I'll just go walk around the woods, you know, on this nice little groomed trail that people walk on or mountain bike on or whatever, and just go rip a little rally car around on it and stuff. And it's just super fun. So I mean, it's really similar to doing the trail runs and stuff with the scale crawlers, but it's kind of like its own separate little thing. So
Yeah.
it's a good time.
I've been seeing a lot of rally courses at clubs popping up, and then I always watch Trevor Rushford. He has his event, Ledge Stock, and they do the rally course right through the camp, and it goes all
Oh,
over the
cool.
place.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you check out Ledge Stock, you'll see them. It rips right through their camp, and they go
Right.
all over the place with it. It is sick. I mean, it's quite a thing.
It's growing, you know. I mean, like, gosh, HPI just dropped another version of their WR8. They have that Escort Cosworth now. HPI is still, you know, they're still alive and kicking, cranking out rally stuff. They're into it. Associated. Sen Racing has their Pumas, and then God, who was it? Was it Charisma? I think that came out with the older Audi, the white, yellow, and black Audi. It's like a WR8 sized, you know, like larger, not a 10
larger
scale.
scale.
Yeah, I think you're
But
right.
it's slowly gaining traction here. You know, it obviously it's huge everywhere else in the world, just not the United States. And like
Yeah.
that was the same thing with Supermoto too. For whatever reason, you know, it was huge in Europe and not the US. So I don't know. I seem to get sucked into stuff that's not cool in our country, but
Yeah.
it is somewhere else. But it's slowly catching up here. You know, it's cool seeing more manufacturers hopping on board and cranking stuff out.
I
And
missed
then
that at the X Games, man. I missed that a lot back in the day when they had it at the X Games, bro.
That that is the only reason that I even care about rally cars, I think, was
Yeah.
I had caught Rallycross on
Yep.
X Games,
Yeah.
and then that in turn like turned me on to like Ken Block and like Colin McRae and Brian Deegan and stuff and all those guys that were racing Rallycross. And
Travis too. Travis
Pastrana. Yeah, he's amazing. Yep.
Dave Mayer, I think, was doing rally there for a while.
Yeah, he was
Yep.
too.
Yep. Yeah, that was like, you say Dave Mayer, I'm all like, that's
Miracle
everything
Man.
from
Miracle Man.
BMX to rally.
That was like rally's golden age here in the US. You know, it seems like it's just kind of been downhill since. I mean, it's slowly getting back, but I mean, I don't know. It's just weird how that stuff will survive in Europe but not here. It's just it's the weirdest thing, but it's fun. I mean, the RC rally stuff, a lot of people, it seems like they're not into the stage rally RC stuff because they don't want to run behind the car, which I get. You know, it's like, you know, like there's definitely people that are like cool with the physical side of RC and they like to do like the scale ultra events and the 5Ks and stuff like that. And then there's the guys that want to stand on the driver's stand and just focus on driver skill and that's it, and not have, you know, physical endurance play any part of, you know, what their activity is. So that's kind of a hard sell with RC guys, you know. But I think that there's a place for rally and RC if they did something like Rallycross with like a Joker lap and stuff like that. I could see that being really, really fun. Kind of like what they do with monster trucks. Like there's scale monster truck racing looks super, super fun too, where they're doing it like side by side and they go around mirrored sections of the track and stuff. So, I mean, it's like scale racing of any kind is just the realism part of it is what sucks me into it, you know. And so it's like I can see the potential there for something fun with Rallycross and stuff for RC, but you know, it's still just a niche thing. So, and who knows, it probably will be for quite some time still, but it's slowly growing. It just takes getting the right people exposed to it.
That's it.
Take off.
We've just been using them on our short course tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, one of our veterans reached out to me last week. Hey, I want to buy a rally car. I said, man, I don't know. I was trying to search for him. Which one? Oh, that's Dan from California, one of our Navy veterans. So he's looking
Yeah.
into buying one.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Jay and Travis, we did have a question come in a little bit ago. JD's RC, will you be offering the EXP trail arms again?
Oh man,
The trailing
we get
arms.
that question so much. I'll let Travis handle that one.
We don't know. It's a hard catch-22 for us because we have never had so much interest in them as when they were no longer available.
Right.
So that was definitely one thing that we
As luck would have it.
we gotta kind of read the tea leaves on. But no, the other thing was just it all hinges on if we can work out how to make it economically again. I think that was the hard part. Like they were not a cheap pair of trailing arms to buy, and we definitely did not try and pretend like that wasn't the case. But it also like that was because they were incredibly expensive to make. And especially because we really wanted to double down on like the whole made in America, aspect of it and like keep it as domestic as possible, and that was just, but that, obviously brings on harder challenges. So yeah, I mean, it's something where it's like, I'm not spending a ton of time exploring like how to bring it back. If it looks like there's a shape, then, we still have kind of everything to get going again. It's just something that we would need to make sure that can turn over, the way that it needs to for us. That's really just what it comes down to.
Almost like a pre-order type deal if you would do it that way, you're moving what you're making or something along those lines, possibly.
Yeah, I've toyed around with that, and I've toyed around with do we want to just offer them explicitly in limited batches,
Right.
so that way like
We're
we're kind of
not sitting
controlling the
on them.
whole. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it wasn't like we were ever going to get a couple thousand of these made. So
Limited edition gold.
funny thing it's really funny you mentioned that because we did actually talk about doing at least once like a special edition gold run. There's a page that he and I both follow on Instagram called Kibby Tech that they they're like a lot off-road like pre-runners and stuff like that, like 1-to-1s, and a lot of their anodizing's gold, and I was like, that would be so sick to bring that here. So it's something where what we've struggled with is finding a good like post machining vendor that can do like the finishing and stuff like that in the way that we needed to. That's been hard, and this stuff is small and it's small quantities, and so it's kind of hard finding a shop that will even take the work, let alone do a good job on it. So it's just that's where there's a lot of touch time on stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely would love to do that.
That's one of the hardest, everybody beats their chest about the Made in America thing. And that is one of the biggest challenges of having something made in the United States is just finding somebody who actually wants to do it for you.
Yeah.
100%.
If you're not aerospace or, I mean, I was pricing out, I had an idea the other day and I was like, I want to check out having some brass wheel faces made, so I'm going to like check out Send Cut Send, and then I'm going to check out some guys around here. And I just wanted 4, 1.9-inch round laser cut circles. That's all I wanted. And the outfit here was $260 some odd for 4 3mm thick brass discs.
Yeah. And that's what's really hard about this is like that's not the shop. That's like what's difficult is like that's not the shop like giving us a hard time. It's like that's what it takes for it to be worth it for us. And that's where we find ourselves in kind of a tricky position between that and like where we sit on like the RC side of things, because it's especially like the size of it. That's something that a lot of people don't really even think about is just the size of RC parts getting those made here. And, you know, because a lot of the vendors here are either working on very tiny stuff like firearm stuff, or it's like much larger, and has a Boeing contract. And so, so that's really where it's like, it's hard to find like this sort of displacement, you know, because then it's like, oh, it's these, yes, but like these are stock sizes we don't carry. Okay, well, that's going to affect your pricing and stuff like that. And it just snowballs.
Right.
You know,
And
it's
then you're
funny.
only doing the one product versus like somebody like Vanquish is doing a whole realm of stuff. So
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we had like all of our other aluminum parts and stuff that we make, but like we had looked into doing, and I mean, it's just, this is just a stroke of luck that it happened to work out this way. But one of the things that we were going to do is, you know, we were really proud of our design for the ball captures. We thought that was something really, really cool and unique, that, you know, they're not blown out and loose right out of the box like the cheap trailing arms that you get that have like, you know, the metal collar with a brass ball pushed in and stuff, and then they end up flopping around, and half the time in the package they're loose, you know, before you've ever used it. So that was
just like ours were for Joe the first time.
Yeah. So I mean, it was like the very first time that we did, like, we wanted to make sure no matter what we did, the pivot balls were going to be snug on these. We didn't want it to be rattling around and feeling blown out. We wanted the balls to be snug. And so we wanted to take that design and transfer that over and do the Yeti bomber trailing arm, and then the Traxxas UDR trailing arm, and like the low C Baja Ray trailing arm. So we were looking at doing all of this, and the next one that we were going to jump on was going to be doing the one for the bomber. And then as it turns out, you know, Horizon ends up discontinuing the bomber. There's still a lot of them floating around out there, and I'm sure that you would still, you know, we would still sell some, but it just kind of happened that it was like, wow, well, good thing we didn't, you know, push forward with that. So I mean, it's like, you know,
but
you get thrown these weird curves because the industry is so little and fickle and stuff, and things get discontinued so quickly that it's like, man, we dodged a bullet there. So
well, and then also too, I mean, having like, we have to have an honest conversation with ourselves, and you never know, right? But like, you know, before we release something like that, just like we did with the arms for the first time, it's like, if we did something like Yeti arms or whatever, it's like those are going to be $150 for a pair of those.
Yeah.
And it's are people really going to do that? And it's like understandable why they wouldn't, right? So that's just where it's like, all right, like there's sort of a threshold where, is it just too much, you know, too much risk to take on?
Well, if it makes you feel better.
It's scary. I mean, it's scary to do this stuff. It's a big investment in time and money. I mean,
what were you saying? Sorry.
Well, if it makes you feel better, there's about 40 miles on the set of trailing arms that I have on my Ecto. And
That's great to hear.
Still tight. So
that is fantastic to hear. Yeah,
they're beat up, but they're tight.
Hey, as long as they've held up, yeah. I mean, it seems like they've worn nicely. I've not gotten much for complaints, thankfully. So I mean, we worked really hard on them. But yeah, I know the sentiment is there that people would really like us to bring him back. So like I said, if circumstances shape up that way, then yeah, we'll do what we can to make it work.
Whenever I see somebody ask about the trailing arms, I try and take a screenshot of it and send it to Trav. And it's so funny. It's like every time we have the conversation, like where were these people when we were making them? You know, like
little tweaks.
Yeah.
You're gonna get people now jumping on there sending you comments every week. You gotta make sure they get seen.
Well, and the other thing too, I mean, the other reason why I do it and send him that stuff too is it's also like, you know, like, hey dude, you know, look at the job you did here. Like people really like these and they think they look cool, and it's something that's sought after and people want them. So I mean, you know, you should feel good about that. So I mean, that's like the other side of why I do it. You know, it's kind of to remind them, like, you know, hey, this is cool, you did something important.
Just a pat on your own back.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, we end of lifed him, so that was the story told.
Yeah.
But no, it is still a fun experience. It was a lot of learning on that one.
All of this stuff's been fun. I mean, whether something ends up being like a successful item or not, it's still like awesome. I mean, like I've enjoyed every aspect of it. I mean, it's sad when you discontinue something, you know, or if something that you really like thought was rad and it didn't work out. Like we used to have a little fair lead for winch line, and it was like the whole reason behind it existing was I wanted it to be small enough to fit underneath Proline's little 2-inch light bar that people were putting on their bumper, you know. So it's like I thought like, man, that is going to be just the coolest thing. Nobody wanted it. So I mean, you know, it's like stuff doesn't work out, but every one of those parts is like so many text messages and FaceTime phone calls and stuff that it's like, you know, I'll go back to the pictures on my phone and stuff and look at like stuff that Travis has sent me that's like, you know, a picture on his, you know, picture of his monitor, you know, of something that was like a really early design of like, let's say the trailing arms or something. And like, it'll take me back to like all these conversations that we had about it and like these brainstorming sessions and stuff. Cause I mean, we would be on the phone sometimes for hours and just be like, what about this? Hey, what if we do this? You know, I mean, like just that ball capture on the trailing arms. I mean, that solution wasn't something that was found in like a couple days. I would say that was like possibly weeks or months spent on trying to perfect that idea, because we talked about at one point trying to do like a uniball. So basically like what you would see on like a Camberg or like Kibby Tech or whoever, an upper control arm on like a Raptor or something, let's say for long travel suspension. A uniball is like a pivot ball, but it's got like a round cartridge that it sets in that is the wear surface for it. And then that uniball setup drops into a hole, and then you have like a plate or screws or whatever to keep it retained inside the arm. And so that was another thing we were looking at. It's like, well, what if we make the little capture for it, you know, this little Delrin disc that pops on around it and then presses in just like a real uniball on a car. So I mean, that was something we looked at, but it was just so small that, you know, it would have been even more expensive and a nightmare to machine. So
it would have worked terribly too, as it turned out too. Like we got as far, I think, to doing prototypes with those, and then that's where we went back to the one piece. But
there's this huge like story arc with every single part where it's like this evolution and stuff, and that's been one of the most fun things about all of this is just doing is like the conversations that Travis and I have, feeding ideas to each other.
The fun thing is like a lot of that time spent is really just like because you don't really know how you're going to do it. I mean, to the example that he was referencing, where it's like the ball capture, where it was like we didn't like a lot of that time was conversation we had was like we didn't really have a good solution in place. And we like that was kind of the whole thing hinges on whether or not we can make that work. Both,
because the best thing that anyone had that we liked was what Vanquish did on their trailing arms, which was they had a hole that you slide the Traxa style pivot ball in, and then they had a wedge with kind of a moon shape cut out of it and a screw, like a set screw in it, and you just tighten the wedge against the ball and tighten the screw, and that's what keeps tension on the ball. Then as it gets older and wears out, you just loosen it up, slide the wedge forward, tighten it back up again. And that was really the only solution that Travis and I saw that we liked. But it's like, well, we can't copy that, you know. It's like I really like that idea, but we can't like copy what Vanquish did. I mean, it's like that's, you know, shooting yourself in the foot before you ever even get started on the project. So, you know, there's just that brainstorming and the process that you go through and like the evolution of how something will look. Like the other day we came across some pictures of what our shock towers looked like the first draft, and like they were so ugly and so terrible, and you know, like looking at what they are now compared to what, you know, the very first go around was. So I mean, it's whether the product ends up being a success or not financially, it's still a success because it's like you've got all these problem solving skills and ideas that you had for other parts that you're going to take all that information with you into the next thing that you're going to start working on that you want to make, you know. So it's like there's never anything that ends up being like just a loser, you know. You get something out of it that you can always like take with you on to the next thing. And so, you know, that is kind of what keeps you propelled forward instead of focusing on like, oh, these didn't sell.
Right. Or this
It
didn't work.
sucks.
Or, yep.
This was a
Yeah.
failure. We're going to discontinue it. It's like it makes those things, those hard decisions, it makes those easier to stomach. But I mean, it's just, I don't know, for us, we enjoy the process and the problem solving part of it so much that like that's half the fun, and the other half is making them and selling them. But like just getting to that point is just such an enjoyable thing for he and I that that's a large portion of why we do what we do. I mean, you're not going to get rich in the RC industry, that's just kind of a given, but we have gotten an education that we definitely would not have been able to have had otherwise because of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, and the connection and the conversations with people working through problem solving is
Definitely.
it's special in its own right as well. I mean, that's quite a conversation that you have between people, and just a learning process in its own way.
Like we try and be like really transparent with what we do. I mean, we talk about like our challenges and stuff pretty openly with people if they ask, we're not like all secretive about stuff like some people are or anything, and it's, I don't know, we try and be as transparent as we can be with all of this stuff and be honest with people about the process and everything. And I hope that's something that makes it unique when dealing with us and our parts and checking out our builds and just any kind of interaction you have with us, because like everything that we're doing, it comes from a place of, I hate saying passion because it's just such a lame sounding sappy word, but like we're passionate about what we do and we care about what we put out in the hobby. And so, it's, there's so much heart and everything that goes into everything that you do. And I hope that's something that people see with us and they recognize the fact that we are enthusiasts and it's something that we're into. And we're, like I said, we're really transparent about a lot of stuff with our business and everything. We have like a core group, we have a core group of friends that we run stuff past. It's SOR is definitely not just Travis and I, it's like it's Adam and it's other friends that we have that are a big part of just about every decision that we make. I mean, it's like we rarely do anything that hasn't been bounced off to 3 or 4 different people, that we've gotten their input on it. So, I mean, it's like this big group effort, and it's cool to like have somebody like Adam, for example, be a part of a product's success or development or whatever, because like, he's into it, he like lives it just like what we do and everything, and it's like it's something that he really cares about and he enjoys. And so it's like when you put a lot of yourself into that and everything and you bring your friends along and they have something to say, it makes it a lot bigger than just is kind of what I'm trying to say. So it's like there's a lot more behind the scenes and more people involved than what people see on the surface with what we're doing. And we've got just an awesome group of people that are super passionate and into the hobby. And it's just made it really, I think that's why we're still doing this after as long as we have been. I mean, we let's see, 2011 is when we bought this business. So we've been doing RC stuff now since 2011. And it's so much more than just RC cars. It's like there's so much real world stuff that's associated to it that people don't see. That is fun about it, and like graphic design stuff. I mean, like that's something that I really, really enjoy. And that's like a part of my RC experience that no one else really sees, but like that's like my favorite thing is like product photos and laying stuff out, and,
Yes.
you know, and it's like there's so many like real world skills and things that you're doing that aren't just RC specific that go on behind the scenes that nobody sees, that it is like also really enjoyable components of working in this industry. So I mean, it's not like always playing with toy cars and stuff, but it's like one day you're a graphic designer, the next day you're doing CAD stuff, the next day you're doing marketing stuff. So it's like like I said, this has been like the biggest education that, you know, we could have possibly have hoped for. You know, it's been kind of wild, the amount of stuff that you end up picking up and learning, and then, you know, pairing those skills with other people and feeding ideas back and forth. It has been I don't know, it's been definitely one of the most enjoyable things I think I've ever done, for sure.
I like bringing you guys in because it shows how much you care
Yes.
for what you do.
Yes.
And for the people, not for that, it's for the people, man. That's why we
Yeah.
love that. That's why we love listening to that, Jay and Travis, bro. Much love,
Thanks.
brother.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like it having you guys on, kind of digging into that kind of stuff, the stuff that people don't see, but
Yeah.
more than anything, the just love, the passion, the care, like it's phenomenal, and that's great for people to see. And something else that I can't say enough is the fact that no matter what, like whether it was a success sales wise, no matter what, you take something positive from it.
Yeah.
You learn, you do what you do, but the biggest thing is you don't quit. You know, and that's for anybody watching. That's for this hobby. This, you know, one of the reasons why Operation 11 Charlie loves this hobby. It works well with veterans. It works well with people in general. Is because it may not be the trucks driving down the trail that does it for you. It may be the building the garage. It may be custom building your interiors. It may be finding 3D printing. The sky is literally the limit. It's just an entry to what you're finding, what works for you. And the thing I can't emphasize enough is just because you pick up the controller and you don't fall in love with the truck bouncing down the trail, don't give up. There's so much else that's there to it that you can really apply and find your niche.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of our
yeah.
guys that have severe PTSD, they don't want to get out. They just want to work on the rigs, all that stuff, you know. So working.
Dude,
Go ahead,
I
Travis.
can understand that. I mean, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
everyone's
love
got their
that.
like
So,
therapeutic bit. Exactly.
Yes. So much of our guy is a process, right? Like me, that happened to me. I was a couple of years didn't want to get out until they were pushing me to, hey, let's go out trailing, bro. Let's go out. You're gonna like it. Let's go out trailing. And then I was hooked, man. It was like you, Travis. I went down. It was a couple of hours, me limping all over the place. Oh, bro, you've been out for 2 hours, homie. So, you know.
Yep. And I mean, we see it too, in, you know, in terms of what people are doing with them. It's, you know, some of them they're on the trails, some of them they're build pictures. They've got into like the weatherizing, the realistic aspect of it. Like they don't have to drive it, and that's perfect. Like there's no stipulation of what you have to do. It's what you enjoy doing and what you find interesting and intriguing. And you guys, I feel like you nail that because of the way you do parts, the way you do your builds. And like anybody that's not following Jay and seeing the stuff that he does, the way he does pictures, the videos of the trucks, like do it, because they do a phenomenal job of
thanks, man.
interpreting that passion, as we'll call it, because it kind of summarizes it to an extent, but does a phenomenal job of showing and highlighting that. So well done, gentlemen.
Let's not forget about quality either, because the parts last.
Yes, they do.
Like,
thanks.
Like I've had this for 3 years. I use it for a toolkit.
Love that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
What is that, brother? Oh, nice.
So that is the plastic box that their loadout kit come with.
Yep.
And I still have the loadout kit on my backpack, but I use this as a trail toolkit. It's
Yep.
got foam in it.
Yep, that's exactly what I did too. It's just
That's
it's just little
fantastic.
stuff. It's like
perfect.
you know, why have
Yep.
packaging that you're gonna throw away? It's like why not
Yes.
like just make like something that is normally a throwaway item a useful part of what
Useful.
you're getting, just
But
another
even-
component of the experience, you know?
Yeah, like the
Yep.
snaps. Like you would have thought is the thousands times I've unsnapped these snaps and snapped them back together that one of them is cracked by now.
Yeah.
Nope. Still holding up.
That's amazing.
But you know what's cool about that is like we don't sell them in those cases anymore because it was really hard to try and like find a vendor at the time that had them in stock consistently.
It was
and-
impossible.
and-
Yeah.
in the colors that we wanted and stuff. But again, you know, like I was bummed out when we discontinued that, and Travis can attest to this because that was something that I was like super hung up on was the packaging. I was like, I think it needs to be in the box. I think that's like one of the selling points behind it. The packaging is kind of what makes it what it is, you know, and we did end up making the decision to do away with that. But again, it's like you know, that totally blew my mind that you just pulled that out, showed that to us because
we don't get to see a lot.
you know,
Yeah.
but it's like that one moment that we just had just now. It's like, okay, I'm not sad that we don't do it anymore. It's like that's sick that it's like he got it, you know, like he got the idea, you know, like he bought onto what it was that I had in my head, like, you know, the whole concept behind it.
Absolutely.
And like,
yeah.
That's
3
awesome.
years.
yeah, you
3
know, so I
years
mean,
I've
it's
used
like
that as a toolkit.
may
Yep.
not be around anymore, but that
Hey.
you know that made it worth it right there.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
That was cool, man.
Love it. That's awesome, bro.
That's
What else?
it. It's we don't get to have the like recognition of it like having like a lasting impact very much. You know, a lot of the
Yeah.
times when we sell something, it'll be like, you know, good luck almost like hopefully like, you know, it's hopefully we don't hear anything bad sort of thing. And then a lot of times, you know, most time you don't hear anything at all. So it's fun to like all this time later, you know,
Yeah.
when it kind of comes back full circle, it's always the coolest feeling.
Because we don't have a lot of repeat customers. It's weird, you know, like a lot of our sales are like, you know, when you look through like
We just don't
Shopify
offer that kind of
stats and
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, it's like we don't have something that like you need to have one of this for every single car that you have. It's like we have this one thing for this one car. And if you're lucky, we might have something else for it, but chances are we don't. It's, you know, it'll be like a decal kit for the windows or something, and that'll be like the only thing that we have. So it's like a lot of those people you never hear from again or anything like that, you know, or you never see again. Like I have a pretty good eye like catching stuff on Facebook or Instagram, you know, like seeing our stuff out in the wild, but like the interaction like what we just had, those times are really few and far between. So when something like that happens, it's cool because it's like, man, you know, this person got it, you know, like they get our philosophy and like they understand like us wanting to be practical with stuff, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But like you said, the market changes so fast that, you know, by the time you get the R&D down and then get the product on the shelf, the whole market's changed and went in another direction. So
Dude,
I get it.
Yes.
A perfect example of that, and like this is a conversation Travis and I had too, and especially because we could like really relate. There's a company called STRC, ST Racing Concepts. They make a lot of aluminum parts for bashers and crawlers and stuff. They came out with a bunch of aluminum parts for Element's first generation IFS. And like, what was it, dude? A month later, IFS2 dropped after they finally like had released their parts for IFS1 and everything, and like they had just gotten it out to market, and like not even a month goes by and all of a sudden it's obsolete now. And Travis and I are just like, dude, because we talked about doing arms for those too, you know, like we were like, maybe we should do lower.
I drew them. I got as far as like being 80% done with them, and then they just kind of went to purgatory after that. Because like there wasn't really much we could move from there unless we wanted to completely redesign it. But there was a very big gap, if I recall correctly, between the end of 1 and 2 coming out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was a
so that
draw.
made it hard to like
Yep.
make it a real plan then. And so by the time that the two would come out, it's like this wasn't really like a feasible plan for us anymore.
But like we immediately though were just like, dude, how bad do you feel for the guys at STRC right now? Like
Yeah.
they're gonna be sitting on this stuff forever.
Well,
You know,
Yep.
and not
yeah.
only that, they're not like us. Like when they do something, they'll have it anodized in like 5 colors or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like Travis and I stick to like silver or black, and that's it. Because like black's kind of our favorite because we don't want our stuff to be super blingy. It's like, well, you know, like the picture behind you, Nathan. You're
Mhm.
I can see your shock and stuff.
Yeah.
That looks really realistic. There's not a bright green or polished aluminum shock tower behind it that is not one-to-one looking, that's distracting me from
Mhm.
the scale
Yeah.
realism of that picture that you just took. And so like with us, we try to do like hard anodized black because it's matte and it's not going to be shiny and reflective and just kind of disappears into the background of, you know, whatever it is that you're taking a picture of. So like that's something that we try to focus on, is like little things like that to try and keep it like, you know, a little bit more scale realistic if we can do so. You know, I mean, it may not sound like a big thing and people are like, well, why don't you have all these colors? But it's like, well, because we don't want it to be blingy. You know, it's like not
Right.
everybody is like that. Some people like want their rigs to look like a real car in a picture, and that's their thing. Like that's what they're into, you know. So I mean, let's make our stuff discreet so that someone can have something that performs well, but it's not super obvious that it's, you know, got all this like blingy parts and stuff all over it that doesn't look realistic now.
The
The
bling
truth
is
also
for
is,
the
yeah.
decals.
The bling is for the decals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It also, but you know, it's a other side of that coin too, is that it's less stuff to order when it's
Yeah,
in
cheaper
single
too.
color.
Yeah.
Like those are
Yep,
those things where it's
absolutely.
like we have to be kind of tactical of like, all right,
Yep.
well, if we think we can only offer one, like what's it gonna be?
We are very
Yeah.
conservative when it comes to stuff like that. Like Travis and I are big chickens.
Well, we just have to be.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
territory.
yeah, you got to be wise with that stuff. It's, you know, it's having a couple $100 of something that isn't moving tied up sitting on a shelf on a slow month could be what could pull you along to the next month of something that you could have spent that money that's sitting there on something that's moving now, you know. So I mean, it's just, it's tough, you know. It's like every little decision is not a little decision. It's big and it's scary and it has lasting impacts. And you gotta just plan for everything and just really be careful with that stuff. And I mean, that's why we're so conservative with like colors and stuff. I know it's boring, but I mean,
Well, also
you
though
have to
too,
be.
also though too, like you can do all of that and then like we're still wrong. So, you know, like it doesn't really matter how you know, how much we really try to prepare, like we're deliberate and anything like that. Cause I mean, like reality is you still get it wrong as often as you get it right. You know, so it's really, you're always just optimizing for that like sort of perfect combination of circumstances and always staying within like a delta on that. And it's just difficult, especially in RC. Like, I mean, you know, to take like the volatility of RC, you know, part of the equation into this, like it took us 12 months to release the trailing arms. And for a good amount of time during that, like we were having conversations of like, should we still make this? Because, you know, that was still kind of like a new release at the time, you know, with the gatekeeper and stuff. And so,
Right.
and you know, that like being like sort of like the first like just showing up with trailing arms in this sort of category and stuff, and the length and everything, we weren't really sure. So it was like there was just that alone was kind of a bit of a dice roll. But you know, for all we were thinking at the time too, we were like, we may not also see these in circulation in a year and a half too. And it's like, we liked the vehicle obviously, but it's like that's just how things can go, right? Where it's like we all have models where we were like, oh, they discontinued that way too soon.
Yeah.
Right. And that has a business impact on us, unfortunately.
Well, I seen exactly what you're talking about. Because I think it was the Trail Walker had a short life, and I remember
Yeah.
Scalar Fab, they had bumpers that they produced, and there was a lot of those bumpers just because that the production compared to how much bumpers they made. You know, there's a lot of that going on with the Element, with how quick some of those were changing over.
Yeah, the Ecto pulled that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what it always makes it very like, how do I put this? It's hard to describe like when you're ever at your most confident, because that's not very high. So like, you know, you're really just, you know, like it's sort of just hoping that like we got it right just enough, right? And that's always going to vary with like each project that we worked on.
It's good that it, like, thank God we have Travis involved with this stuff, because like I am very much like a typical, like, I'm your stereotypical RC consumer. Like, I think everything is cool and I want everything, you know? And so it's like when I come to Travis with an idea, I'm like usually really excited about it. And like, dude, what do you think of this and stuff? And so it's like I bring that like enthusiasm from being like super into the hobby and like being all excited about stuff. And then Travis is the one who's like, okay, let's start thinking about this. Like, how many, you know, people you think in the market actually have this, and then of those people, how many do you think actually are going to care to modify it, or they're going to leave the rig bone stock and just drive it because they're not that invested in the hobby like we are, you know? So it's like you have to put yourself in the headspace of all these other different type of consumers, and I'm a terrible person for that, because it's like I said, I'm like just overly enthusiastic about it and want to do and make everything, you know, and I think everything's cool. So it's really kind of tough. And like, luckily Travis can kind of, you know, like, hey, let's think about this for a second. And yeah, it's a good idea, but you know, I don't think it's really worth us spending that amount of time on. And you know, so I don't know, that's why you have to have like a good network of people to bounce ideas off of and stuff. Otherwise you're just kind of floundering around in the dark, you know?
Yep.
Well, guys, we are past that time, man.
Oh, wow.
we
Didn't
we
feel
lo-
like it.
that means
fast.
we need to bring them again. So we got to plan with
Well,
this.
thank you
Hopefully,
guys.
yeah, hopefully we
Yeah,
could
thank
get
you.
Adam. I've been texting with Adam. He's still working, man, and he
Oh
feels
man.
sorry. He feels sorry. So he was, I said, bro, don't worry about it, you know?
Yeah, man.
Well, even if Adam can make it without us one of these times to kind of, because he's got a lot to catch up on now. So
Yeah.
Yep.
So
he's pretty busy, dude.
anything else that Jay, Travis, you guys want to mention? We will start saying our goodbyes, brother.
We do have some stuff we're working on for you guys. We have some things that we're gonna donate to you to raffle. So right now, Adam is doing his portion of the project. So I know you guys haven't seen much out of us in a while, but as soon as he gets things kind of squared away with work and gets some time, he's gonna spend some time on the stuff for you guys and get that sent over so you guys can raffle it off.
Oh, we always great, Jay and Travis and Adam. We always great for you guys. I'm kind of like bumped out. I'm not gonna see Adam this year. That's why I always enjoy
because of Axial Fest, huh?
Axial Fest, right? That's why we hang out, you know. So hopefully next year, man.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
So yes, definitely. We gotta work on that to bring the boys back and Adam, and you know, if they're busy, then you know, so we can hang out again, man. Guys, before we start saying our goodbyes, we got our Helion raffle going on. So it's $5 a spot. We pinned the PayPal to the top. There's a bunch of people that have sent us PayPal throughout the show. We are very grateful. As you guys know, all these raffles that we do, we keep O11C going. The O11C outings with the VA Hospital, the trail run with our veterans, and taking to events, all that stuff. Not just the veterans, their family members as well. So we are very grateful for that.
Did you say how long you're going to run that for?
So we don't have a date set yet. It may be a couple of weeks. It's going to be done before BTC.
Yeah.
So before BTC, we hopefully somebody from BTC wins it, and we could give it to that person, and we give it to them in person, man. We always love to meet the
Yeah.
people, hang out with the people. So that's what it's all about, like what Travis did, and recently, interacting with the, we love that, man. We love that as well. Like Vince was saying, the first time O11C went to California, I met Vince at JJ Constant Hobbies. So he went just there to meet us and hang out with us, and we went to Rock City there, and to do a few induction ceremonies. We had an amazing time. Those memories always stay there with us, man. So we are very grateful, man, building those memories with RC brothers, and our veterans, man. So yeah. So let's start saying our goodbyes then. Josh, go ahead, brother.
Hey, sorry I had to jump out for a few. Awesome, you guys being here. Appreciate you coming in. Chat, thanks for coming in every week, hanging out with us, and your support is great. Like Hobby said, get in Helios raffle, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, my brother. Dennis.
Travis, Jay, appreciate you guys coming on tonight.
Oh,
Talk
thank you.
about what you guys do.
Thank you.
The rally side, I've got the HPI 8th scale rally
Nice.
sitting back here. It's the Ken Block edition.
Perfect.
It's a beast.
That's rad.
Those things ripped. That's awesome.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys coming in and sharing what you guys do. Everybody in chat, thanks for hanging out. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have a show. We wouldn't be able to do what we do every week.
Yep.
And we will see you guys on the next one.
Well said, brother. Well said. Go ahead, Nate.
It's kind of the same thing. Everyone, thanks for joining us. The support matters. I don't care if you like, share, whatever. It all does truly matter. Travis and Jay, you guys are rad. I always
Oh.
enjoy
Thank you.
talking with you.
Thank you very much.
You guys are a blast. Definitely awesome seeing what you do, social media wise, things of that nature. It truly is engaging. And
Thank you.
everybody out there, if you catch this, 100%, if you're struggling, if you enjoy the hobby but you're struggling with what you're doing, the hobby has an amazing support system with people within the community. Don't struggle. Reach out, ask for assistance, trying to figure whatever you're struggling with, trying to figure that out. Somebody will help you, and keep going with it. Don't give up. So everyone have a phenomenal week. Stay safe, and we'll see everyone next Monday.
What we got next Monday, Nate?
No,
on,
I think we had to swap things around to work the schedule out.
Oh, Desmond Mooney. We got
Yes,
Desmond.
Desmond. And that, just like this show, I promise that show is going to be very engaging. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Desmond is an amazing person. And please join us for that show. It'll be a good one.
Nice.
He's doing a lot of stuff for mental health.
He is
for men. So
Yes.
that is that's kind of what we do here in O11C.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. They also started up a women's. Obviously, Desmond doesn't do it, but they did start up a women's group as well.
Awesome.
But they're doing amazing things, and Desmond just everything from 1-to-1 to his leaf spring trucks and just everything he's involved in. He's an awesome guy. So he is. So we look forward to having him on.
A big teddy
Right on.
bear.
He is.
Teddy bear.
Yes, that is for certain.
I love it. Love it. Joe.
I'd like to thank everybody that joined us today watching, was engaging in the chat. Jay and Travis, it's actually nice to see you in face
Yeah.
Yeah, you
instead of
too.
just
Thank you.
messaging.
Likewise.
I've always loved the products. Unfortunately, like you said, you drift away in different directions, and then you get to looking and stuff. You're like, man, like I just was sitting on your website. It was like, I should have been looking. I haven't been on your website in a little bit. I feel bad for it, but probably going to be some stuff ordered up here soon. So keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Yes.
man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Been using, like I say, your product for a while, and everything that I purchase is good quality and held up, and you can tell the time that you guys invested in your products. It shows.
Thank
So
you. Thank you very
Love
much.
that. Thank you so much.
being part of a great RC community, sometimes it's hard to find quality products anymore. And it's great to be able to fall back and see it. So thank you guys for sharing, and hopefully
Thanks.
maybe one of these times we can catch each other at an event and actually meet in person.
That'd be rad. Definitely.
That would be cool. We are long overdue for event attendance, so
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
definitely in our future. No, thank you so much.
Hey,
Appreciate
10-year
that.
anniversary at Beat the Creek, just saying.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That's on the list for sure.
Travis, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, no, just thanks a ton to you guys for having us and everybody watching. I mean, and thank you obviously too for you and your organization and the work that you guys are doing. It's been awesome to see like the exposure and the awareness climb over time, but as you guys know, right, that it's, you know, that you're never really there and that fight's never over. So you guys doing what you guys are doing is massive for this hobby in particular, where, you know, so many similar strokes, but, you know, trying to make sure that no one else is left behind out there too. So thank you guys a lot for making that happen.
Travis, thank you for those words. And that's truly, man, there's a lot of footwork that we do behind the scenes. It's 24/7. The RC just a tool, man.
Yeah.
To get us together. So much love. Jay, brother.
Well, thank you guys very much for having us. Appreciate it. You know, thanks for letting me ramble on about the stuff that is important to me, that I care about and have fun with. What you guys are doing. I know that Travis was really thorough with what he just said, but what you guys are doing are very, you know, it's very important. And thank you, because nobody else is. And the other thing that I really like with what you guys are doing is it's not just the driving, it's the building and stuff, and like making sure that people are exposed to all aspects of the hobby, you know, because all of it can be therapeutic in some way. And it's not just being on the trail, it can be building too. So I think that's awesome that you guys take the time to expose everybody to all aspects of it, so that you can make sure there's a place for everyone, you know. So thank you.
Amen, my brother. You guys make our job easier. Sure.
You do.
Bro, that's
Yes.
amazing. That's what I say, Jay and Travis. It's your show, bro. they have some practice, right, with that scale show. Guys, make sure to check the boys out. I've been posting here on the chat. Check them out, man. Stay in contact with them amazing people. That's what we love, bring them here, right? We cannot thank you guys enough here on the chat, on the panel. We got a few stuff coming on. We have Viet outing this Friday with the Viet Hospital. Looking forward for that one. I know a couple of our chapters are going out this Friday. I know Fort Mitchell, Fort Benning area have an outing. Also, the Super Show, our California chapter will be at the Super Show there in Pomona, California. But thank you so much, guys, for the support. Everyone in the chat. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next Monday. Be safe. Peace.
Take care, everyone.
See you guys.